But not every day is going to be these massive transformations where you're buying tons of plants or trees. Sometimes it's the simple and it's the mundane. What's up, you guys, and welcome back to Growing with the Lilies, where we are growing our dream garden one plant at a time. Today, I am simply going to be taking you guys on my current watering routine. Now, if you are new here, my name is Alexis, and I am a work from home mom. So typically when I am doing my watering, I'm trying to get it done before the kids even get up. That didn't really happen this morning. It is about 7 o'clock on the dot as I speak, and 2 out of the 3 of my kiddos are up. Another reason why this is important to mention is because we are a homeschool family. So I do try and stick to a pretty structured and routine day. And so getting my watering done really just, one, it creates a space for me to have some time for myself. And 2, I know that the plants are taken care of and then I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the day. We are in the process of building a 15 by 30 in-ground pool. And so there is a lot of stuff just going on the property. There is a lot of movement that is currently underway. And so we actually don't have existing drip irrigation, which is kind of a big deal because we do live on an acre lot property. And as you can imagine, not having any type of irrigation, sprinklers, drip systems, bubblers, whatever it is to make it more efficient, it has been become a very big challenge for us. And so it's been really hot. We have been hitting, I want to say, like 105 here in Southern California. And so that also makes it pretty challenging to get out here and water consistently. But it's absolutely critical for us because with the build of the pool, we were really forced to move some of the plants in our yard um, around in order to get started on the project. And so typically you don't want to be moving any type of plants during the summer months because it is extremely hot, and of course that can cause stress on the plant. But we were kind of forced to move them anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys from beginning to end my current watering routine and how I get it all done. Let's go. So this is normally where I start. I did invest in a retractable hose, which has been great. My husband installed it on I think it's a 2x4, and some cement. Millie, leave it. And Millie, off the plants. Off. And this has made it a little bit more convenient. Before that, for the first couple weeks after transplanting the plants, I was using this right here and just like random buckets around the property, filling it up and then taking it to each plant that I needed to water. And so that got old really quickly. So we do have this. It's about 150 yards. It does allow me to water everything in the backyard that I need to, and then along the side as well. So I typically will start here. And this is our shade garden that we have started. So I will start here with these shade plants. That does not require too much retracting. Leave it. So this is the second section that I come out and I water with the retractable hose. That requires me to actually pull the hose out. So I would say right now we're roughly at around maybe 115 feet. So if you are looking for something that's going to allow you to water your plants at an extended distance, I would definitely say a retractable hose is a really good investment. So here is where I start watering my trees. So this behind me is considered our orchard, and a lot of these trees were already here. We just simply did some moving around. So what I'll do is I will go around and I will stand on each, like the base of each tree, and do like a minute of watering, let it fill up, and then move on to the next one. So we are going to be starting here with this guava tree, which is actually going to be coming out, I think, because for this area, I think we just want to create a little bit more openness. So I'm going to water it until we figure out what we're going to doing. But there is guava. There's a mango over here. There is, I forgot the name. It was some type of tropical paradise plant that you can see it's not looking too good. There's an orange tree. There's another mango tree in the back and some pepper trees that I really want to make sure that we're taking care of because we're going to be moving them in fall. So these here, I actually came and put on one of my solar operated drip emitters. So I just filled up this bucket and I put the stakes, and I was trying to do it so like both trees, the orange tree and then whatever tree this is, could share the water, but didn't quite work out that way. So it looks like the water is already out. It could be potentially leaking because I see the water on the outside of the bucket, but it was an attempt to make it a little bit more efficient for me, or convenient for me, so that I don't have to actually fill up the little ditch area that we created for the newly transplanted orange tree. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it some water. And at this point, I just don't think that too much water is even possible. And if you can see this orange tree, the leaves are pretty dead. And that's just simply from the shock. This tree actually looked pretty good prior to moving. It wasn't really producing any fruit, but it did have had leaves on it. So one thing I kind of want to talk about as we're out here, the garden is often a place where I can reflect and like hear my thoughts. With 3 kids and homeschooling, it sometimes gets a little bit overwhelming, and sometimes feeling like I don't have a space for myself to just breathe and decompress. This is that time for me. And so a thought that has been coming into my mind quite often with the move and moving to a much larger property and having much more to take care of is the idea that as gardeners, specifically new gardeners, there's always this little urge and push to feel like you need to be doing a lot. You go around and you see these beautiful plush gardens, these gardens that have been established for years. And, you want that too. Myself, as I reflect on my time in the garden, I look back at my first garden, which was in a much smaller space, and I really felt like I did too much way too fast. And while it did not put my family and I in any financial hardship, I know I spent a lot of money on things that could have waited or simply could have been done in chunks, where I didn't spend as much money right off the bat. And so for me, sometimes gardening and making progress simply looks like coming out and watering my plants, or moving some things around, or simply making sure that an area is clean. And so as we trek on this journey to transforming this 1 acre lot, that's something that I'm constantly reminding myself of, is that any progress is good progress, whether it's coming out and watering plants, buying new plants and getting those plants in the ground. All of it counts. But not every day is going to be these massive transformations where you're buying tons of plants or trees or making up sections. Sometimes it's the simple and it's the mundane. And so this is something that I am challenging myself on. And if you're a new gardener and you feel the pressure to get everything done all at once, I'm challenging you too. All right, let's go ahead and move over to the other baby mango tree. So this was not, the most ideal time to do this, but this mango tree that we wanted to preserve was smack dab in the middle of where we were going to be doing the pool. And so Millie out, this girl loves water. It's like she just loves water, and then she gets all muddy. But yeah, so we didn't really have an option. And so I have noticed that some of these leaves have some type of disease on it. I do kind of want to come and, just remove all the current leaves and give it a fresh start. But I'm like, is it even any point? Like, it's going to grow over it. But if I have the time, I will probably just come out and take them off and give it a clean slate. These are the California pepper trees that really have not been getting any water, and I can already see some growth coming on them since literally hand watering them and now watering them with the hose for over, I would say, the last 3 weeks. So we've got one more tree that we're going to water. This is a guava tree, and it's probably one of the more established fruit trees that we have here on the property, and I'm super excited about it. That was the last tree for the backyard. We're going to go ahead and head to the side yard and the front, and that's going to be it for watering our 1 acre property. Here is a little reality check. This was the raised bed that we planted, probably like, I would say, a little bit after we moved in. And as you can see, it's not doing too well. And I'm simply going to come out and take most of it out. So in here we had some salvia, we had lemon thyme, we had Italian thyme, strawberries, and then basil. The basil's actually doing okay. It is flowering, so if I cut this back, it'll probably keep producing. But honestly, you guys, it just got too hot and we were not watering it consistently. At my old garden, everything was pretty much automated. And so, you know, it was really challenging for me to do this, to come out and hand water it, which is why I invested in the hose, but by then it was a little bit too late. So we're just going to take these out really quick. One thing that I will say is a benefit to hand watering your plant is you are forced to really pay more attention to the overall health of the plant. And that is something that I am having an opportunity to do more of because I have to hand water it. I'm able to see how the transplant is coming along, if it's establishing any new growth, if I'm giving it too much water, which I highly doubt in this weather right now. So I don't really think it's possible to overwater it, but I'm just able to track more closely how the plant is progressing. And so that is one of the benefits to actually hand watering. So this one, I'm simply using it to water this Mexican wreath vine that we have here by the front door. Huh. And see, this is exactly why every once in a while you should be coming out and hand watering, because I'm able to notice that some of the leaves at the bottom are yellow, which means that when I was coming out here and drenching it in water, thinking that it needed a lot of water because it's so hot, it actually probably was too much. So we're going to go ahead and just cut this off. If I would have just had this on a drip emitter, I probably wouldn't have noticed this as soon. So this was completely green when we moved here, and it was getting no water. It probably was just getting rainwater. And as soon as I decided to come and start watering it, look at the leaves are yellow. So we're going to just stop watering it, maybe cut back to just once every 2 weeks, and I'm sure it'll kind of find its way back. So it's not a lot of yellow, but there is some, and that's simply because I've been overwatering it. We are at our last spot that we're going to be watering for this morning. This is the front yard, and there is some existing irrigation here. However, the previous owners had it cut off. I'm thinking because there was a problem. And so I have been able to come out and really just manually turn it on and turn it off. It's not perfect. As I was just kind of evaluating the overall health of the pipes, I did notice that there were quite a few cracks, and the whole pipe probably needs to be removed and replaced. However, there is water, and so I feel like having some water is better than not having any water, even if the valves are not or the bubblers are not exactly working how they're supposed to be working. The point is just to get some water out. So when I turn this on manually, I can see some water coming up from some different places, and the water simply just trickles down to each of the plants. So it's going to hit this crepe myrtle, and it's going to hit all of the palm trees here. And this is really gross to me. And I'm super careful because I opened this one time and there was a big black widow. So it is this far one right here. We're going to turn it on. Millie, move. And I'm just going to run it for about 5 minutes. So all that water is coming down. Coming down here. And as you can see, this is where one of the leaks is. So I probably don't even need to run it for 5 minutes. Probably like 30 seconds and then turn it off. But there's none coming here. It's like literally nothing coming out of here. It's barely dripping, so it is still getting some water. This one is coming out, but there's really no trench around it, so it's kind of just coming down the slope. But again, some water is better than nothing. This one is completely dead, so this will be coming out. We're not worried about water on this. And this is pretty full, so that's good. And barely anything coming out here. So, and nothing on this tree. Alrighty, you guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed my simple yet realistic watering routine when there is no automatic irrigation. And so this is my current reality, and that's okay. I think it's a sweet and simple reminder that gardening is never linear. It's about progress, it's about ups and downs, and it's about how you address each of those challenges. And so I do plan and hope to get some automation out here pretty soon to make my life easier, because I would say this took about an hour overall for the front and the back. So that's it for now. If you are interested in following along in our 1 acre lot property transformation along with the pool build, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.